These are some of your things you'll need. A pair of pliers or cutters to pull your straws. You'll need a plastic straw, which I don't have in the picture here, a pair of tweezers, a pair of scissors, some glue to attach your bales if you're going to use bales and not the straws to make the holes, a file, a popsicle stick, an assortment of dried flowers, and of course your resin, your molds, silicone molds, and a plastic or a baking pan just to keep it level so that if you have to move it, you won't have to pick up the silicone mold. Hey Cottage Mavens, it's Lorna D with Cottage Necessities today, showing you how to make these beautiful resin ornaments here. And we're going to do a tutorial on this, how to do these. It may be a little bit long, so get yourself a cup of tea and settle in. Going to be working on that. Now I showed you a couple of things for the supplies that you're going to need, but you're also going to need your gloves. So make sure you have those handy. And then you might also, if you're working with children or just yourself too, you may need to put a mask on when you're working with the resin. So I just want to show you a couple of things. And I've got some boo-boos here, but that can be fixed also. So I'm just going to show you how easy they are to stack up, because I just love this about them. You just stack them up. This is just a few that I made yesterday. They're easy to store because you can stack them up like that. Now, here's a couple that I made. If you can see this. But what I did was I put a piece of straw in there so it has a hole made. You can kind of see it against the light, how the light comes through. So when you hang these on your Christmas tree, they're going to be beautiful and light filled. And what I'm using is these silicone molds. I made all of these the same because I'm going to be putting these in some Happy Mail boxes. So I made them with gold and white and red. And you'll see this, how we have this here, and we're just gonna, we can clean that off with a file, with an emery board like that. So that will be easy to fix. So we'll get through these, and I make them kind of thin. This one's a little thicker than some. I'm not getting them exactly the same, but some are thinner. You see the difference? So, you know, kind of figure out how thick you want it. You're going to do 2 applications of the resin. See how got the light shining through it? And they're real shiny on the surface. Surfaces are shiny. So, let's go ahead. Now I've got my flowers ready right here. I've got, and these are just from my garden. I've got the lantana. Got a lot of lantana here that I've picked and pressed in a book. And then I've also got just flowers that I picked from my garden that are still growing out there. So I know if you have any of these flowers in your garden. They're ready for the picking. And here's, these are geraniums that you saw in that other one that I did. So those are going to be a lot of fun to use. And then we've got, gosh, I don't remember what this one is, but it's pretty. It's real purple. And I've got a lot of petals. So today, oh, I want to show you this one. Now here's one that I tried. Instead of putting a straw in it when I was making it, I just left it, and then I added a bale. So the possibility's endless with these, and you can even make them into a nice necklace, like a big pendant to wear with a tunic sweater. That would be pretty. Just hang it on your thing there. Hang it. I don't know if I'd put it that high, but they're very pretty for any time of year, really. So you don't have to just limit yourself. And I've got some, I think these are Cosmos. I'm not sure if I'll use those. I might save those for a card or something, because I like that bright orange. Got those. And then I got a few leaves. And these leaves just fall out right outside the door. And they're pretty. Red, greens, yellows. So we've got a variety of those. Not sure if I'll be using those today. Then the other thing I got was, I went to the dollar store and I got these letters because I want to try doing a name inside, like for my grandchildren. So I'm going to try that. And then I also have a collection here of some crystals. Get these picked up. We've got a whole bunch of crystals here, little small shards, and I wanted to try doing a crystal grid in one of these rounds. So I'm going to go ahead and get some resin mixed up, and then we're going to get started. So I went to the dollar store, picked up a couple of these mats so that I can have a nice work surface, because I'm just in my dining room working on the table, working in here. So these help you move things around. I also recommend that you get cookie sheets and your silicone molds, and these have to be silicone. So I actually got 2 of these, and I'm going to, oh, there's a little bit of gold in those, but I'm going to leave it. It's fine. Not a big deal. And then here's another one that I made, and I tried putting a different type of bale, which is a flat pendant bale, and then it's got a loop up here to put a string or a ribbon through it, and that one's really pretty too. You can see that. And I'm hoping to get my tree up today so we can show you how they look hanging on the tree. So let's get started. I picked this up at the dollar store because it's got a measuring things on it. I'm not going to use this today. I'm going to go ahead and work with this one that I have. Now you see how the resin dries, the silicone, that's why I like silicone, a little silicone cup. The resin just dries down in the bottom. And see, I can just take that and throw it out. It's, I don't know, fun thing. Okay, so you want to measure your resin like 1 part to 1 part. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So you can put your mask on while you do that. And you want to make sure you put the resin first and then the hardener. So I'm going to do quite a bit. The key to resin working for you, doing its best job, is the mixing it. Mixing and measuring. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going all the way to the top with this one. And this is the hardener. I'm not doing any affiliates for any of these products, but you can find them online. You can find them in your big box. In the big box hobby stores. So I also went, and I really like the dollar store. I don't know if you have a dollar store, but you can get so many supplies. And I got these sticks, got a whole pack of those. Now I did fill this up really full, so I got to be careful mixing, but you want to make sure you mix thoroughly. Now the thing I was saying about mixing is that if you don't get it mixed completely, you'll have sticky places on your ornaments, which I can show you that I have one like that. I'll show it to you later. Always want to wear gloves because this stuff will stick to your hands, but you can kind of see how it's mixing together, and it's recommended to mix it for at least 3 minutes. 3 good minutes, because it's really thick. You see how thick it is, and it takes a while to really get it mixed up. So if children are doing this, make sure you're supervising them. Now I haven't been doing resin for very long, but I really love working with it. It's pretty. It's like glass, and with pressed flowers, it really brings the beauty out. Of the flower detail, because when you press flowers, it gives you a chance to really see the unique beauty of the flower. We don't always look at flowers close up like we would when we press them. Pressing flowers goes way back to Victorian times. It was very popular. People worked a lot with flowers. Even before that, people were pressing flowers in books and plants and herbs and studying botanicals. So this, you want to keep mixing. It's supposed to it goes from cloudy to clear, and there will be a few little bubbles in there. So what I'm going to do is just pour a very thin layer in the bottom of each of these, and these are only less than an inch deep, so now it's starting to look clear. So I think you want to get it down in the edges of your little beaker. I've got some other fun things to play with today. See, I went over the side. Besides the letters, I've got some colorants that we might try. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do some crystal grids, some flower grids, some flower kaleidoscopes, and we're going to use some colorants and try some lettering to see if we can do just using like stickers. But I'm not going to peel them off, I'm just going to cut them out. So for the letters, you could also do a print of some type that you like maybe a beautiful little vintage photo, or I'm sure you have lots and lots of ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and start pouring this. You see, it's very clear now. We've been mixing it for a couple minutes. Thanks for bearing with me. Now I'm just going to do a little bit in the bottom of each one. And then we'll kind of spread that around, just a very thin layer. Like I said, it's okay if you kind of, I'm kind of sloppy when it comes to making things, but I don't even care if there's a few little gold flecks in there because I think those are so pretty. Okay. And I'm going to save a little bit of my resin because I want to show you something I can do to repair some of the ones I've already made. Now I'm just spreading it around. You want your surface to be very even. That's why the cookie sheet is good, because if you try to lift it like this, you're going to have a bend. But if you keep it on a little tray, you can just move it and put it away while it's setting. So I want to try, let's see where my flowers are. Okay, we're going to try some flowers. Now that we've got our resin poured, and I just kind of like these little buds. I don't know if you can see those, but I'm going to kind of lay those in there. And you want to make sure you're placing it facing out. So we've got buds that we're just placing around like in a little circle to make a little design. And then you may want to use a toothpick, and you can move them around in the resin to make it a little pattern. And then you might want to add, well, here's one that I think my sister sent me. This is so pretty. I'm going to do it in it. It's going to be all by itself in one. Now you can use your popsicle stick to press them down. You want them secured in the resin. Now I'm going to add, now this is the lantana, so you may want to break these off to create your, if you're going to do a grid, you could do a bouquet like I did on the other one. I kind of like the kaleidoscope idea. I kind of started thinking about it last night, and I thought, oh, this is going to be so pretty if I do this. So we're going to do a kaleidoscope. And what I mean by kaleidoscope is we're just kind of making a circle of all the flowers. I hope you can see this. Since I have enough of these, I can do it. So you need something that you have quite a few of, and you want to put your darker colors on the outside. Let me see if you can see this. I don't know if you can. I'm going to have to turn my camera so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see what we're doing here. Okay, so now we're going to use a piece of, I wanted to use just one of these geranium blossoms, one that's sort of round. And I'm going to place it face down in the middle. Just kind of doing this as I go along, so bear with me a minute. I had the idea, oops, to put a couple of these crystals in there. I'm going to make a crystal grid. I'm going to try a crystal grid in this one. Not sure how it's going to work out, but we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun to have a crystal gridded flower design. I'm going to put a little bit more resin in this one because it's kind of got a bare spot. Now we can also add a couple of crystals to this geranium. The crystals just give it some different aspect of the energy. That's flowers carry energy, crystals carry energy. So I think that, let me show you what I'm doing. Tip this up a little bit. You can see what I'm doing. Another one here. Got a mini crystal grid over here. Gonna work. No bueno. No bueno. Oops. I'm going to just do some little dots. Oh, it's making dots. It's making little dots of green. Isn't that pretty? Well, I'm not sure if I like that idea, but let me show you what it looks like. That. And we've got this one. You see how it kind of moves around, so I really don't want to pick these up too much, but I'm going to put a few more flowers on here, and then I'll come back, because I've got this gold that we're going to put in, and we can just put that in fairly easily. Little pieces of gold, flack. I love the gold in there because it just adds some sparkle for Christmas. If you're doing these for Christmas, if you're just making, you can make a wind chime, not a wind chime, but it would be like something that hangs. Let me see. Anyway, just kind of play with it and have some fun. I just like this gold everywhere. I'll put it on. This can have a lot of gold. One other thing I thought of, you can also add some glitter. You can add glitter. Alright, so kind of got my hands all gold. Sticky! Got more purple here. More purple flowers. Add your leaves in there for some background. You can put some sprays. The sprays are Queen Anne's lace. And then I think I have some glitter in here. Let me see. I've got glitter. So you can add a little glitter. See how that looks. We put some glitter. Oh, that's going to be pretty. I'm going to put some glitter on this crystal grid. So that's something else that you can do, is just add your glitter. And then you're just going to let these set up. Let me add a little bit more to this one because it looks a little bit bare. So I'm going to add a couple more purple. And that's my kaleidoscope. Flower. Okay. Oh, I kind of like it just like that. So I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to put any more. So now we're going to let this dry. Oh yeah, I've got these. Let me get another one of these and press some of those gold flecks down into the resin. Because if they stick up, you're just going to end up filing them off with your file. I hope you can see this okay. So it does. This is the back that you're looking at, and when we turn it over, once this all cures, we're going to turn it over, and you're going to see how that looks. There was one more thing I wanted to show you, and that is we're going to take a straw, and I just got these at the dollar store, and we're going to cut about 1-inch pieces, and we're placing these in each one. We're going to make it stand up. They should stand up on their own once the resin starts to thicken, but you might have to keep an eye on them or cut them a little shorter, because we're just going to pull them out with a either a wrench or I have a wire cutter that I use. So if you cut them a little shorter, they won't lean as much. So you're always, if you're doing a kaleidoscope, your top can be just about anywhere. But if you're doing a flower that you want facing up, then you want to make sure you determine where the top of your ornament will be. So that's where you're going to be placing your string. And these straws are a little bit small. These are a little narrower than the ones I had before. So before I was able to get ribbon through it, but this one may have to take a string. So try to cut them off as straight as you can so they stand up straight. Can't say that mine are getting really straight. But after these cure, we're going to be putting more resin on top of what we've just done so that we can, oh, that looks good. So that's where your string's going to go. That's going to create a little hole for you to put your string through. So, and you can use twine. Now I got ribbon. I don't know if it's going to work, but this is what I got at the dollar store. And so I'll probably end up folding it a few times to get it to thread through. So just keep in mind when you're buying your ribbon, we may have to thread it through to get it kind of small. Or we can use twine or hemp string, any of that. Okay, so just kind of watch them. As long as you got a hole there, you'll be able to get something through it, and you shouldn't have any problem there. Okay. Okay, so here's a couple of my boo-boos that I made. The reason I call them boo-boos is because, like this one, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not smooth. It's kind of wrinkled. And that happened because after the first resin pour and it cured by the, you leave it overnight, I pulled it up before I poured the second resin pour, and then I didn't get it back into the silicone mold tight enough, so it has a bunch of kind of ripples. So, and then this one, I didn't mix my resin very well, and it's got, I was trying to clean the sticky, it's still sticky up here. I was trying to clean it off with a napkin. I'm just going to, I think I'm going to just probably file it off like this, and then apply more resin to it. So any of those, you don't have to throw them away. Don't throw them away. They're still good. But you might have to do a little repair job on it. Now here's, this one has a hole from the, you can see the hole from the straw. And these other ones don't. Well, this one does. So we'll be putting ribbons in those. Now this one, I still haven't, I reused my my twisted piece of straw, and it kind of got stuck in there. So I've been able to get these out, but it's not that easy. But I've been using this kind of wire cutter thing, but you can use a pair of pliers. And then I also used a Phillips screwdriver to sort of push through the hole, and then it released the plastic part of this straw. So you just have to kind of, don't give up on them. Keep working, persevere, and you'll have some nice, beautiful ornaments that you can gift to somebody. Or stubborn, like this one, having a little tough time getting it out. So I've got this Phillips screwdriver. I'm just pressing on it because there's a layer of resin on the end, on this side that's not letting it release. But once I get it to release, just kind of twisting that in there like that, and pretty soon it's gonna, there it goes. See? Okay, so we got a nice clean hole there. And a couple of little pieces of debris. But then all we have to do is file it. And I file down like this. Now this is when you want to wear your mask, because this resin powder can get into your nostrils or into your lungs, and it's not a good thing. So be aware of that when you're doing it. Have a good couple of emery boards handy so that you can smooth your edges easily enough. Now I told you I was going to try some lettering, so I'm going to cut up some letters, and then I'm going to pour a little bit more resin, and we're going to try a couple. So I wanted to go ahead and show you how this is going to work. If you just take, this is the wrinkly one, if you just take some of that resin on the end of your popsicle stick and very gently drop it on there, it's going to smooth it out and bring that shine back. And resin it'll stop at the edges, so don't go over the edges if you can help it. Just get it right up to the edge, and it'll sort of smooth itself out. You don't want to pour it because you want to really be able to manage it. But this is for the ones that have come out. Maybe they got a little wrinkly on them, on the surface, or they're not looking as smooth as you'd like them. So you can just sort of rework them and then let those cure overnight before you add your bail. These will need a bail because I don't have a hole in this one. So that's that. It's going to look very pretty. That's my golden white one that I made. So I'm just going to set this one over here and let that dry. And then we're going to start another. I'm going to make another one here. Move the tools out of the way. So I am going to make two with names in them. And I suppose you can't do a real long name if you have very large letters, but there's my A. And see, now you got to think backwards when you do these, so this has to go here. Middle. And that can be a child's ornament. You could put a date on there if you have the right type of lettering. Maybe print something out on your computer. So just be sure to go backwards, not, you know, you're reading this backwards and like that. And then make sure, so it's Koa. And then you want to make sure you have your straw right at the top. And then for this one, I'm just going to put some glitter. I'm going to do, gosh, I think I'll do silver glitter for this guy. I think Koa's going to like this. Okay, and then we'll come back and do a second coat of resin. And then I wanted to do one more, but just had got my eye on one of these beautiful look at those. I'm excited to do one of those pansies. So I'm going to set that in there. Oh, there's no resin in there. So don't make the same mistake I made. Anyway, we're going to make one of those. And we're going to do another one with a name on it. And I'll come back to show you the reveal. Okay, so these have the straws in them. I put some glitter on the back. Now see, this straw is starting to tip over. That's why you want to keep your straws on the short side. Try to cut them straight across. I might have gotten that one a little bit. Might have to change it. Put a different straw. Anyway, that's kind of what that looks like. I'm going to let that sit overnight.